Hey, this is Mr. Poteet again with Mr. Curtis Hildreth at his beautiful place of employment. Sometimes causes him grief and maybe loss of hair, but he loves every moment of it. And it's the follow-up interview that I told you we would do. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born and raised, went to school, and all that kind of stuff.
I was born in Inverness, Florida, which is not far away from here, Citrus County. My parents tell me it was the only hospital around, so they had to drive me there to have me born. That was 1986, 32 years ago. I went to, well, besides for elementary, middle school, then Springstead High School, right down the street.
Class of what year?
04.
Ooh.
04. So quite a while ago.
Yeah, that's not that long, but still quite a while.
It's quite a while. Did my time there and went to USF in Tampa.
Did my time.
Did my time.
Like prison.
That was prison. No.
Were you one of those kids that when mom and dad said, go to school, you went to school but never went to class?
I actually went to class. I liked school. School was because I knew when I got out of school, I had to work. So I would go to school because there was a lot of air conditioning.
Oh, wow.
And when I got home working outside, there was no air conditioning. No. So I like school. I had a good time. I had a lot of friends. I didn't have a particular group of kids I hung out with. I hung out with several groups of kids. Everybody knew me, knew who I was, but I didn't really hang out with like one particular group.
You got any brothers or sisters?
I have stepsisters, but I am an only child. So biologically speaking, I am an only child. But I do have two stepsisters. And
they're older than you, younger than you?
Yes, older. So I have an older one who is 7 years older, and I have a younger one 7 years younger.
Wow.
So Curtis, my oldest is Crystal, and my youngest is Christina, all 3 C's.
Wow.
So
3 C's.
3 C's.
That's kind of cool.
Only boy, so I had to, I did a little things different than they did.
Of course, yeah. Well, you said earlier that you started this really early, 13 years of age.
Yes.
What in the world got you on that path, man?
I always had a taste for, I guess, expensive things. So
at 13?
At 13, Dad, I want that toy. Well, you're going to have to work if you're going to get that toy. So I started push mowing the grass. My dad would pay me money, I'd push mow, and then the neighbor would want me to work, and then the neighbor would want me to work, and I bought a riding lawnmower, and it just went further and further and further and further. So 13 to 16, I get a car, I get a truck actually. My dad helps me buy a truck. Then we just...
So you had a truck before you had your license?
I did. I had a truck at 15.
Does that mean you were driving illegally?
Well, I could drive it if my dad was with me.
Oh, permanent.
And that's another funny story about learning how to drive stick shift. And if my dad sees this video, he'll really enjoy that. Because
were you grinding them hard?
Right in the middle of Spring Hill Drive, which is a main road, and I could not get out of the road, and my dad was yelling, just put it in gear, and I just couldn't do it. So it was a traumatizing time.
And all your trucks are automatic now.
They are. I still to this day know how to drive stick shift because my dad taught me. But you'll never forget it. It's one of those things that once you learn, you know it. But that was a fun time. Okay. Fun time. So
now I got a question for you about your business.
Yep.
You've never worked for anybody else.
No, sir. No.
So what was like a defining moment somewhere along the line where you said, this is it, there's no turning back. This is my life?
When the money started coming in, I had gone through the mowing stages. I got into the sod industry. I started doing some more bigger jobs. That first big job where I got a lump sum of money.
Cash? Cash.
It was a cash job. And that right there was like, you know what? If I can do this, I can make a lot of money.
Was it in an envelope or rolled up, man?
It was actually folded over with a rubber band.
Oh, wow. So it was the money that got you.
The money got me.
The wolf of Spring Hill.
I try not to chase the money because you find yourself chasing the money. But when it gets so big like it is now, you're not only chasing the money, but you're providing for other families. You're chasing the money to keep your company going.
Absolutely.
And that's, you've got a lot of families you feed. You just got to keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah. Was there a time where you really felt all that pressure and you almost said, I'm done with this?
When I bought the nursery in 2013, I came over from my sod business with a large sum of money that I thought at the time, $50,000.
That's not
bad.
And
that went in about one day. All these plants cost money, and the $50,000 went out the door, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul to try to keep the business afloat. And I told my wife, I don't think we're going to make it. I honestly don't think we're going to make it. We're robbing from here. I'm cash advancing on credit cards to pay for sod to come in, and eventually, the nursery got stocked, as you can see here. I mean, it's pretty stocked now, and then that money is it's all paid for. So it's not taken out of a chunk every week. It's paid for. So
you can stash a little in the jar someplace.
Yes.
That must be a good feeling.
It was difficult, very difficult.
Well, of course, all good things are, man.
But it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Now, when you came and spoke to the kids, did you get any feedback from anybody, since then?
I did actually. A business that we work for here locally in Spring Hill, one of their superintendents called me and wanted me to do some more work on a job for him on a house. And he said, before we talk about this house I need you done, I need you to talk to me about some personal stuff. And I said, what is this? Oh man, what was the guy going to ask me,
It was probably that wad of money you got.
Yeah, maybe, you never know. But he said, I want to thank you for coming and talking to the science club. And I said, oh, okay. Do you have a son or daughter in there? He said, my son's in there. He said he really took a lot from when you came in there, and he brought it home, and he said, Dad, I got a deal for you. I want to mow the grass for $10.
Dang.
And he said, the dad said, where did you learn that from? He said, we had a speaker in the science club today, and that's how he started. And that really, it kind of, brought almost a tear to my eye, thinking, I got through to one kid, and that one kid was able to take it home and talk to his parents about it, almost like I started when I was 13.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. The neighbors would come down and I would cut their grass. It was that's how I started, and he could very well start, and hopefully gets big enough soon to come buy me out so I can go.
Maybe he'll come work for you and
maybe work for me.
Be your right-hand man.
That would be great.
Oh, boy.
That would be great. But it was touching though to be able to hear from the dad who said, you really got through to my son.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Which was great.
And that's
which
why
was
we wanted
really
to do it.
good. Really good.
Well, you've been in this industry for more than half your life now, and you've seen a lot of changes.
A lot of changes.
What are some of the things that just aren't sitting right with you when you go home?
The biggest change that I've seen is the workforce. The workforce, not like it was back in the day. Back in the day, you had a lot of hardworking people that really wanted to work and needed to work.
Right.
Nowadays, the government has made it a little bit easier for people, and we're not seeing the people that really want to work. They want to work to get their paycheck, but they don't want to work to provide for their family and to grow as an individual.
Take them on a vacation. Or,
None of that. None of that.
This.
None of that. It's more about where's my paycheck on Friday. And the biggest thing, and any other contractors that you talk to, it's the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Okay, well, I would agree that is a situation that needs to be changed. So
yes.
Then the last one for you is if you had a chance to work towards solving it,
mm-hmm.
what would be your angle, and how would you try to address it? It's going to take a long time.
It's going to
get here.
It's going to take a long time, but the reason I came to the Science Club and talked about what we were doing and how I've grown this business was to really reach out to the kids and say, look, we have a need for employees, managers, sales guys to mechanics to work in this industry. And there are jobs out there. You know, you don't have to just work a McDonald's or a Burger King. You can actually do a career in the agricultural industry. And, you know, that's what I wanted to get to the kids is, you know, the agricultural industry really does provide for families in Florida, and it has been providing for hundreds of years. Yeah, you know, and if that angle, by being able to go to the kids and say, hey, there's jobs out there. This is just a very small group of kids. If you could start doing this more on a weekly or monthly basis, we could get our hands to more people and show them there's jobs.
Do you think the 4th and 5th graders that you met were too young to really understand what you were telling them?
Honestly, I think the 4th and 5th graders, no, not at all. A lot of them had a lot of great questions that I would, you know, think that older adults would ask. Great questions, very attentive, and that was something that struck me kind of odd because I thought I would go into a 4th and 5th grade class and about 10 minutes into it, they'd be throwing paper balls and, you know, not paying attention to what I had to say. But I think when it really hit them and they really saw that there was money to be made in this industry, they wanted to know more. You know, they asked me some crazy questions. How much money do you have and how much do you make? And, you know, what you make is the gross and the net are two different things. So, I mean, businesses that make millions of dollars, the owner doesn't make millions of dollars. So, you know, that's what I tried to express to them is you're not going to make the millions of dollars your business makes. You're going to take a great salary. You're going to, you know, provide for other families.
And take all the headaches that go with it.
Take all the headaches, which there's a lot of headaches that go with it. It's not just, you know, come in here when there's no one around and everything looks lined up and all the trees are good. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah. A lot. So.
Well, that's all the questions I got. And I don't know if you're going to get this whole interview. Maybe it'll be edited. But this might be the big one. And I just want to say I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Good getting to know you.
All right. Appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing what we're going to do in the community, man.
Let's do it.
All right. With that, it's Mr. Poteet reminding you to pursue a love of lifelong learning. Click the like, subscribe. Ready? Mahalo
Mucho.